Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we're working on this gas-powered compressor. That's pretty neat. Haven't seen one of those yet. This is my own unit now. I got that in exchange for repairing a backpack leaf blower that wouldn't run. So I did a metering valve on that, or metering diaphragm, and a fuel flush, and I set the mixtures and it ran just fine. So I repaired that for him and I got this in return. It does run, doesn't run to full power. I think carb's got some junk in it. It's kind of stumbly. It's got to run on choke for a while, so I think we're gonna pop that carburetor off there and first off, just pop the carb off and clean it out and fire it back on there. And we'll see how well it runs. It does have an unloader valve. That's up here. So when it reaches the pressure, maximum pressure rated, this pops and it's got an air solenoid that idles it down. So when the pressure drops in the tank again, this senses it, closes this unloader valve, and then engine goes up to full speed again. Kind of neat, actually. These are actually very expensive units. Gas-powered compressors are not cheap. Okay, let's get you guys zoomed in a little bit here. Whoa, close enough? Too close? Too far? That's perfect. All right. Whoa, that's a big sweater. Let's get the air filter out of here. It's, it could use a change. It's not terrible, but it's okay. It's probably original. I don't know all the history on this, but that's probably original anyways, that air filter. Let's get that cover off of there. Well, that gun's dead. Yeah. What do we got going on? Oh, there's another one. Oh, that's the air solenoid. That's your little air piston there. Probably needs a seal, because it's a little leaky. It's a little loose. We'll look into that, see if there's something available for it. I'd have to go over it and find the brand name. Something. Drive? I don't know. It says something on the back of the unit. We'll have to find out what that is. There's that's off. Little gasket here. This is a genuine Honda GX140. It's not the offshore copy. It's the real deal. And just checking the gasket in behind there. If you've got a bad gasket, it means you got a vacuum leak. Actually, the gasket looks good. I would say we pull the bowl off. And might just be this pilot jet underneath here. So let me get some receptacle underneath here, and we're going to dump that bowl out of there. Okay, so I've dumped old fuel out of it, which wasn't overly bad. I didn't see any mess in there. Hang on one sec, I forgot my mic. Here we go. Can you hear me now? That's good. It's been a long day. Okay, so like I was saying, I dumped the old gas out. I didn't see anything really wrong with it. It's not overly bad. It's just old-ish. I didn't see any water in it. There was some debris in the tank. I just kind of flushed that out too. So that's all cleaned up. We're gonna do a couple of things here. We're gonna pull the main jet out. I've already looked underneath there with a flashlight and a mirror, and it doesn't appear to be bad, but just want to pull the jet out and we'll check that emulsion tube. Where is it now? There we go. Yeah, here we are. And we're also going to pull that pilot out. There's the jet. That's pretty clear. I think the muslin tube should fall out too. Might need a little persuasion. Reach in there. There. Okay. You gonna fall out, or what are you gonna do? There you go. There it is. It does have a series of tiny little holes in it. I'm just blowing through them here to make sure that I can see through them. There's one that's plugged up. See if I can get you close up. I can't go too close because the zoom doesn't like to zoom on this camera. I'm not even sure if you're seeing them. There you go. You can see this. See the holes down the side there. I'm just going to shove a small little wire through there. I think it's the smallest string on a guitar. I don't know. I don't play guitar. They were given to me for this purpose. Oh, that's tiny. There's those two. It's just the tiniest ones that I can't see through, so I can't see the hole either. There we go. Almost had to get my glasses. Bigger ones are perfectly clear. And it's clear up the center. So we'll pop that back on. The main jet is clear as well, so we'll just fire all this stuff back in there without throwing it all over the floor, maybe. Needle looks good. Let's get that fitted back into its proper location. Let's do a fuel test. Just water. Oh, you know, I got no fuel in it. Yeah, let's get some fuel in there. We'll do a quick fuel test. Here we go. Flows. Stops. Flows. Stops. Stopped it with a fuel valve. That'll also flush out any crap that got in there. All right, let's get our bowl back on there. It's not like a Tecumseh. There's no special orientation, but you can, these bowls have a little drain on them. So if you're working on a unit that has tight clearances, you're gonna wanna line that up beforehand. So don't do it that way, because that's where the air cleaner goes. Do it that way. That way, if you want, you can drain it from the side. Like I was saying, leave yourself clearance. That's that. Gaskets still look okay in behind there. Get that one on there. Get this on there. Oh, just close the choke so it clears the cover. That's that. Get our little breather hoosing back on there. I'm not going to jam everything down because I still want to look at this. This looks a little sloppy. It doesn't feel like there's much resistance from an O-ring in there. So I'm going to peel this apart and see what I can see. Because I might just be able to put a universal type O-ring of a assortment kit in there. It looks like it was leaking, maybe. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. You'd think if it had an O-ring on it, it wouldn't be so sloppy and it wouldn't be flopping around. It would have some resistance. Grab a couple of wrenches. Zoom out just a little. What's your guess on the size? Is that a 5/8 and a 9/16? Oh, hell. Well, just get back here. That's a 9/16. Huh, 5/8. You guys are right. Crack the end off. Spin this out a little. Let's see what we see. Well, we see an O-ring in there that ain't doing much of anything. It's kind of just flopping. I'll replace it. Let's get a little hook and hook it out of there. Do not discard it yet because I don't know if I have one that fits. But yeah, no sense you guys waiting for me to get the O-ring dug out of this kit here. It's just a universal selection. There's gobs of them in here. Okay, I did find one, but I had to go to my metric kit to get one that was the diameter of the ring was big enough. Not the overall diameter, but the actual material. Now it's got some resistance to it. It doesn't flop around. Hopefully that'll do it. Hopefully they didn't break it. Let's get that bolt back in there. She started. Miles will just put that right back where it was. Oh yeah. Not like that. That's better. Let's do that by hand. 10 M&Ms. That's sturdy. Let's get our nuts on the front here. Well, the bowl is on, so let's turn the fuel on. See if it overflows. Pour our gas cap back in here. Is there enough to run? I'll put a splash in. Yeah, it should be enough. I mean, it was running with a boat that much in it. Get in here. Where are you going? What are you doing? All right. I'm going to see. Ah, hell with it. It's good. It'll work just fine. Put our lid back on. Like I said, the oil is full in the engine. It's actually a little over full, and it's full of gas, and it's black. So we're gonna change on that. Let me get you zoomed out, and we'll get it fired up. See what happens. Here we go. I know it's loud. I had it running before. It was pretty loud. I think that's all I need to do. Fuel is on, choke is on. It's got a new plug in it. Switch is on. Let's turn it this way. Well, let's see. When I put the choke all the way off, it stopped. Just tested the unloader valve there. I just opened it as if it had a full charge of air. And it went to idle, but it went too low. We might have to adjust that. Choke. It's not liking that. Something's going on. This is the way it ran before. No, let's turn that idle up a little bit. Let's go up a little. Just for funsies. Nope. We might have to actually pull that carb off and clean her out. Yeah, we're gonna have to pull that carb off, which is gonna happen another day because it's like 10 o'clock at night and I am done for the day. Okay, we had to move this project to the bench because we got this big behemoth up on the hoist. It's in for a drive shaft and a front axle shaft, but that's down the road. It's not right now. Let's carry on with this. I did manage to get the carburetor to run well. I took it apart, I cleaned it, blew some carb cleaner through it and sprayed it out with compressed air. That seemed to be okay. So I moved on to the air leak. So this copper line sits in this orientation, but it goes from the compressor head to the tank here. This is a check valve in there, but it's a compression style fitting. So it's got these little brass pieces that you slide over the copper, and then you put the nut on there, and when you tighten the nut, it squishes this brass between the nut and the fitting and makes a seal. But we had an air leak. As it was making pressure, it was just blowing out over here. I could feel the air. So let's see if I can get you a picture of that. See that crack? That happens with copper a lot, actually, because of the vibrations make it crack. So, well, that's breaking right off now. But that's fine because I ended up getting a couple of ferrules at the local hardware store, little brass rings. We're going to reuse the nut. But what we have to do is get this cut, and because it's going to be shorter, we're going to have to tighten up some of these coils here and get some more length just to make it work. So we're going to kind of twist it and pull it and get it to fit. Yeah, that's the plan. We're going to try anyways. You just make a nice clean cut, as flat as you can. We'll get that nut off of there because we need to reuse it. And this cutter is garbage because it's not making one line, it's threading the thing. Yeah. See if we got another cutter. I have another cutter. Little one. We'll see how this one does. I think this one's working. Yep. Making one deep line instead of a spiral line. Almost through. There we go. So the idea is you put one of these brass pieces over there, like so. Well, you got to put the nut on first. Anyways, not like this. It's got to go in there first. And then you put the line into the fitting. This slides up to there, and then you tighten the nut, and it squishes that in there, makes the seal. Well, you got to come out. Oh, everything's oily too. Yeah, so see if we can get you close up on the two. You can see that the compression ring gets much smaller once it's installed. It's basically a one-time use. You can't reuse them. I couldn't take it off this pipe and put it, cut it back and put it back on. So don't forget the nut. Let's get the nut on there. What did I lose? About an inch and a bit. So we're just going to try and tighten these coils up a little bit. But being that it's been installed for a while, it's going to be brittle. And it's oily. All right, I'll do that off camera on the vise. I can't get you over there anyways, so stand by, we'll come back. Okay, I got it set and fitted. Let's get you maybe zoomed in a little here. It's a bit of a pain to see, but got some Teflon tape on that elbow. It's a 90-degree elbow. That's our check valve in there. So we can actually take this elbow out and air doesn't come out of the tank. So that's a big check valve. So I know it's impossible to see, but our copper line is in there and fitted. I got it in there set loose. I still have to tighten up these nuts. I do have my new brass crush washer in there, or ferrule, whatever you want to call it. But it's got to snug this up. Got the other side fitted as well, and it's also still loose. You don't have to go crazy tight on these. You got to crush that little washer, and it's brass. Just good and snug. Let's get this side done. And once it's tightened up, we'll make sure that that copper line is not rubbing on anything, because if it does, it'll wear right through it with the vibrations of the engine. Just snug this side down, top the compressor head. So that's snug, the other side's snug. The copper line is not touching anything. I went ahead and pre-charged this, so there's actually quite a bit of air in there. There's 120 pounds in there. So we should fire this up. It should run on fast, and then it should reach pressure, and then this unloader valve, well, it's unloaded right now, but the unloader valve should throttle it back. Let's see what it's gonna do now. So that's idle, and that should run and actually make air. So let's see, on, it's pretty warm in here. Fuel's on, choke's off, choke's on. Huh, okay. It actually idled back. It's cold. It's idled back right now. Wow, you guys are jumping around. Whew. Hang on. Get you moved. Let's try that angle. So it's about 120 pounds in it right now. It's on an idle. Let's use some air. I'm just gonna plug a nipple into here. That seemed to work okay. It was loud. We'll use some more of that air. It's just a nipple that's gonna blow air out. So we'll use some of the air out of the tank, and it should rev up. It should catch up and shut off. That's loud. There we go. Popped her down to an idle again. That copper line I put on there is not leaking. Everything is hot. That's better. I did change the oil, so it's got some fresh straight 30 in there. Yeah, it actually seems to be working okay. It's not quite stable at wide open throttle. It's got its issues. It's kind of surgy. Might need to get a little more in depth on that carburetor. I'm not sure, but anyways, all the functions work. The unloader valve works. So that piston works that I put the new O-ring in. It's just a matter of cleaning the carburetor. If worse comes to worse, I'll put another carburetor on it. But it's cool that it does unload at 120 pounds automatically. So that's working perfectly fine. Huh. That's okay. That's all right. Well, guys, I think I'm going to close the video out here. It's just a matter of getting that carburetor straightened out and behaving itself. But this is a neat little unit. They are very expensive to buy, gas-powered air compressors. It makes mobile servicing and repairs a lot easier when you got when you have an air source outside of your shop. I mean, it inflates tires and does all kinds of stuff, and it's far better than a little electric air compressor. They plug in a cigarette lighter. This will do actually some work. You can use an air ratchet sparingly on it, impact on it if you have to. So you can inflate tires a lot faster with this than you can with a little plug-in air compressor. Anyways, thanks for joining me on this video, guys. This is not a resale unit. I'm probably going to hang on to this thing. Don't forget to smash that like button. Leave a comment down below. Subscribe, please, if you have not yet. If you do subscribe, give that bell a dingle. It'll let you know when I upload new stuff. And until the next one, take care.